Hey, what's up, guys? It's me again, and today we're going to be talking about how Donald Trump announces he will cut federal funding for any school teaching critical race theory on day one of his presidency. So, this was published by She Finds, the author's Julia D. Corti, or whatever the hell that name is. I can't pronounce Jew, but okay, let's get right into this. So Donald Trump continues to tell voters exactly what to expect if he is elected president in the 2024, most recently telling a crowd in Reno, Nevada that he will cut federal funding for any school publishing critical race theory. What exactly? Oh, on day one, keeping reading to find more about the former president's political promises. Trump to cut funding to schools teaching critical race theory. At a campaign event in Reno, Nevada, Donald Trump announced to a cheering crowd that he has big plans for day one of his presidency, that he wins the election this November. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school publishing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. And I kind of agree with this kind of shit. Because sometimes I feel like America is in an age of immoral decadency, and whether you're Christian or whether you're just a scientific person or whatever, sometimes I look at it like you got to look at biology, and biology states that you have XY chromosomes and all that shit. So there's no such thing as any of this homosexual stuff, none of this transgender weird shit. It's like you're just a boy and a girl, your pee-pee just is a pee-pee, and your vagina is just a vagina. You stick your pee-pee in a girl and babies crawl out of the hoe. Like, I mean, sometimes you just gotta look at it like we're animals, dude. Like, it's like a dog, like male dog humps the female dog and puppies crawl out of the stupid bitch. And it's like, that's what being an animal is. Like, so I kind of agree with Donald Trump on this. They gotta fund against the immoral decadency and the sexual perversion that's destroying our country. And like, yeah, this shit's just disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, I swear to God, they're like, if people have like weird, stuff going on in their own lives after school or whatever the fuck, that's cool. But I just don't feel like this should be something pushed on the children. Children have weak minds, and I don't want, people with experimental mindsets and weak mindsets doing weird shit and then regretting it. It's damaging to like your psychology and your ego and your mentality and stuff. And I don't like the idea of like these sex predators going near children and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, and critical race theory analyzes how social structures include social and political laws. Media shapes social conceptions of race and ethnicity. In the past, Donald Trump has called it ridiculous left-wing dogma and a twisted doctrine, and correctly explaining that it teaches children that America is systematically evil and that the hearts of our people are full of hatred and malice. And I personally disagree with this statement because I believe that the average person is just a chill, normal person. I feel like even if people are kind of nasty and spiteful to each other, everybody is kind of just like the way they are. And I feel like you could easily kind of jump into the shoes of any one person, jump into their ideas and their thoughts and kind of understand maybe they're like this because of that. Or maybe they got a mental block about this, or they got some mental trauma about that. But I don't really feel that a lot of people are actually full of hatred or malice. And I feel like the average person is just, even if they are full of hatred and malice, I feel like they're just, maybe they dealt with some shit, or maybe they're just, like having a mental block. Maybe they got hit of acid and fucking go on a spirit journey, or whatever the fuck. But it's like, I feel like the average person isn't even that hate-filled or even that bad, even if they are hate-filled. And people are misled commonly. So I personally don't even agree with critical race theory. People aren't that bad. And Donald Trump has previously said that he will be a dictator on day one of his presidency, so that at least he's being consistent with his claims. Other statements from Donald Trump's campaign event. Trump has other plans for his presidency if he wins over the Democratic opponent in November. In addition to cutting federal funding for schools teaching critical race theory, he also said that he will keep men out of women's sports, and he wants to baby drill for more oil and stop the transition of electrical vehicles. Yeah, I kind of agree with him on one thing. I actually think that they should keep men out of women's sports because men have a biological advantage over women because we, as men, have different chromosomes. Our DNA is different. We have different organs. Our muscles are better, stronger bones. I feel like if you let men in women's sports, it gives them an unfair advantage. I feel like, like drill, baby, drill for more oil is not that bad of an idea. We need more oil, Oil is definitely a good thing to promote. The only thing I really would like to, honest to God, not see is I still would prefer there to be at least some form of transition to electrical vehicles. But the only thing is, the only reason why I disagree with it, like the transition of electrical vehicles, but I also agree with it at the same time, is because electrical vehicles have problems. They're hard to deal with when you're in colder climates, and they have a lot of issues. They're hard to maintain. They're hard to work on. If you're a harder working person and you did everything yourself, a self-made man, if you do everything yourself, you work with your hands like me, you'd understand the reason why you'd want gasoline vehicles, because you're able to do a lot of work on them yourselves. Electrical vehicles are hard to understand. And I feel like without there being some way to make electrical vehicles more simple, or to hammer out the technology to make them more reliable and them easier to work on, I think the transition to electrical vehicles is too soon. But maybe there should be some kind of way to eventually transition to electrical vehicles. I also think that instead of transitioning to electrical vehicles, we could theoretically transition to compressed natural gas vehicles, because I still like the idea of combustion vehicles because it would be more easier to work on them. And compressed natural gas creates less emissions, and we could really effectively create compressed natural gases. Whether it's through methane, whether it's propane. There's a lot of different compressed natural gases that could be theoretically rammed through a vehicle. So definitely consider the idea of compressed natural gases. He also said that he will prevent World War III, which is, according to him, that if he was still president, he would have inflation. We wouldn't have the Israeli disaster. We would have had Ukraine and Russia fighting. None of this. The U.S. Representative Deanna Triffitt, a Democratic from Nevada, issued a statement on issue. Donald Trump is running on an extreme unpopular agenda that Nevadans have rejected again and again. Over the past few months, Trump has shown us that he is willing to jeopardize our democratic institutions to force an extreme, cruel, anti-freedom agenda on Nevadans if he gets another term as president. And I highly disagree with him. I personally don't feel like he's anti-freedom. I don't feel like Donald Trump's cruel. I feel like Donald Trump is actually being benevolent. I feel like Donald Trump has his best interests out for the U.S. public, and I feel like he's just the kind of person where he's just trying to be benevolent. I think just Donnie knows best. So, like always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Make sure to donate to my Cash App. Check out my website. And like always, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out.